Deep beneath the North Atlantic, in a world of perpetual darkness and freezing pressure, lies one of the most haunting relics of World War II, the wreck of the Bismarck. For over 80 years, she has rested in silence, her secrets sealed by 5 kilometers of cold seawater. But when a modern underwater drone descended toward her in a recent expedition, the images it captured stunned experts and terrified the world. This is not just a story about a shipwreck. It's a story about a ghost from the past finally speaking. Stay with us. What you're about to see might change everything we thought we knew about the Bismarck's final moments. To understand why this discovery sent shockwaves around the world, we have to go back to the beginning. It was May 1941. Nazi Germany had unleashed its most powerful warship, the Bismarck. A steel monster over 800 feet long, armed with 8 massive 15-inch guns and layered in armor thicker than a man's height. She wasn't just a ship. She was a floating fortress. The German Navy had one goal: break Britain's naval blockade and destroy the Allied shipping lines. The Bismarck's mission was to strike terror into the heart of the Royal Navy, and she did exactly that. On May 24th, 1941, she encountered HMS Hood, the pride of the British fleet. In a battle lasting just minutes, a shell from the Bismarck struck the Hood's ammunition magazine. In a flash of light, Britain's mightiest warship exploded and vanished beneath the waves. Only 3 of over 1,400 men survived. The world was stunned. The Royal Navy vowed revenge. The hunt for the Bismarck began. For 2 days, every available British ship and aircraft searched the North Atlantic. Radio signals were intercepted. Fuel lines were stretched to the limit. This wasn't just a pursuit. It was a national obsession. When British reconnaissance finally spotted the Bismarck,
I think we found something here.
she was heading toward occupied France. If she made it, the balance of power at sea could shift. At dawn on May 27th, British battleships King George V and Rodney opened fire. The sea erupted. For nearly 2 hours, shells rained down on the Bismarck. Her guns fell silent. Her superstructure was shattered. Fires raged from bow to stern, but even as she sank, she refused to die easily. Many of her compartments were sealed, still airtight, as she slipped beneath the waves, taking more than 2,000 souls with her, and then silence. After the war, the Bismarck became a legend. For nearly half a century, no one knew where she was. Many believed she was lost forever, hidden in the dark abyss. It wasn't until 1989 that famed oceanographer Dr. Robert Ballard, the same man who found the Titanic, finally discovered her resting place. Using submersibles, Ballard's team located the wreck 600 miles west of Brest, France. What they found was chilling. The Bismarck was nearly intact, standing upright on the ocean floor like a sleeping giant. Her hull was riddled with shell holes, but she hadn't broken apart. Some parts of the ship looked almost untouched, as if she had gone down peacefully. But there was a mystery that Ballard couldn't solve. How exactly did she sink? Did British torpedoes tear her apart? Or did her own crew scuttle her to prevent capture? That question remained unanswered until now. Fast forward to today. In 2025, a new expedition, funded by private researchers and advanced marine robotics, set out to survey the Bismarck once more. But this time, they had a new weapon: autonomous underwater drones equipped with next-generation imaging sonar, 4K cameras, and deep-sea AI navigation systems. Their goal was simple: map the wreck in unprecedented detail and study the damage pattern to finally settle the debate of what really sank the Bismarck. As the drones descended into the darkness, sonar echoes painted a ghostly image of the ship's shape. The drone's lights illuminated the forward deck. twisted metal, broken guns, sea life growing on steel. Then, one of the camera feeds flickered. In the corner of the frame, something shifted. A shadow moved across the deck. Not fish, not debris. A tall, faint humanoid outline drifting near one of the open hatches. "Hold the feed," one of the engineers said. The drone hovered. The sonar picked up no solid object, but the visual camera showed something that wasn't supposed to be there. The crew was shaken, but they pressed on. They assumed it was a trick of the light. Perhaps particulate matter reflecting off the drone's beam. But what happened next removed all doubt that something was off about this wreck. As the drone maneuvered toward the midsection, operators noticed something impossible. One of the watertight doors, which had been confirmed sealed during previous expeditions, was now slightly open. This was 5 kilometers below the surface. There are no currents strong enough to move such a door. No submersible had touched it since Ballard's 1989 mission. The drone's lights cut through the darkness and peered inside. Inside the corridor, the walls were remarkably preserved. Gauges, dials, and cables still intact. Then, the camera caught something metallic moving. Not falling debris, but something small rolling across the floor as if disturbed. That's when the feed began to distort. Static glitches. The sonar froze. For several seconds, all communication with the drone was lost. When the feed came back, the drone's orientation had changed. It was facing the ship's insignia, the massive iron cross, partially buried in sand. And then the drone's hull sensors detected a vibration, rhythmic, faint, almost like footsteps. Marine experts reviewing the footage dismissed the footstep sounds as mechanical resonance or acoustic feedback, but others weren't so sure. You see, many of the Bismarck's crew were trapped when the ship went down. Some compartments sealed airtight for hours as the vessel sank. There were even reports of British sonar operators during the war hearing tapping noises from below after the Bismarck disappeared, as if men were still alive inside, waiting for rescue that would never come. Could those vibrations have been an echo of that tragedy, still replaying itself after all these years? The expedition continued scanning the wreck. Using AI pattern recognition, the drone detected several anomalies inside the hull. Sealed compartments that had never been opened. When they used sonar mapping to visualize the inside, they found something stunning. Human remains still inside some of the rooms, preserved by the cold, oxygen-starved waters. But in one compartment, the shape of the bodies didn't match normal decomposition. They appeared to be fused into the bulkhead, as if the force of an internal explosion had melted metal and flesh together. Forensic analysts later confirmed that this level of heat couldn't have come from British shells. It came from inside the ship, likely from a chain of explosions triggered when the crew attempted to scuttle her. But that wasn't all. Near the engine room, the drone captured a strange phenomenon, a faint blue glow emanating from a crack in the hull. At first, they thought it was bioluminescent plankton, but readings showed a mild radiation spike. The Bismarck wasn't a nuclear ship, yet something down there was giving off measurable radiation. Theorists quickly jumped in. Some believed secret experimental munitions were on board, perhaps radioactive shell components or even early prototypes of advanced weaponry. Others suggested it might be a naturally occurring phenomenon. When the footage was released, the internet exploded with theories. Some claimed the humanoid shadow was the spirit of Admiral Lutyens, the Bismarck's commanding officer, still standing at his post. Others suggested electromagnetic disturbances caused by decaying ordnance were creating hallucinations in the drone's imaging systems. Some researchers noticed strange time anomalies in the drone telemetry. Still, the combination of the moving shadows, radiation readings, and the reopened hatch left one conclusion hard to ignore. Something about this wreck is not at rest. 3 days into the mission, one drone went missing entirely. Its last transmission was a sonar image, a dark corridor leading to the ship's control room. At the end of the hallway, a faint silhouette appeared again, the same figure seen before. When the recovery team sent another drone to retrieve it, the first drone was gone. No trace, only the faint sound of metallic echo, tapping, rhythmic, deep, like Morse code. When decoded, the pattern roughly translated to 3 letters: SOS. Today, the wreck of the Bismarck remains one of the best preserved war graves in the world. By international agreement, it's protected, untouched since the last expedition withdrew. But the footage continues to circulate online. Skeptics call it coincidence. Others call it haunted history. But for those who've studied the wreck, one thing is clear: the Bismarck still holds secrets, and perhaps still has voices that refuse to be silenced. As one of the mission's engineers said after reviewing the final recordings, "We didn't just find a ship, we found a memory that doesn't want to die." The Bismarck was meant to be a symbol of power, a weapon to rule the seas. Instead, it became a tomb, frozen in time beneath crushing darkness. So the next time you hear about another expedition into the deep Atlantic, ask yourself, are we exploring history or disturbing it?